Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 5:30 News on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Russ Riesinger.
And I'm Jeanelle Slade. An American soldier from Billings comes home today. His arrival heartbreaking and unexpected.
The body of 23-year-old Nathan Irish transferred from Iraq back to Dover Air Force Base in Delaware this afternoon. The U.S. Army says he died in a non-combat related incident on Sunday while supporting Operation Inherent Resolve.
Irish, described as an outstanding soldier by his superiors, earning 6 medals during his short time in the Army, including the National Civil Defense Medal and the Army Good Conduct Medal.
Q2's Jay Cohn joins us now with more on Sergeant Irish's final welcome home. Jay?
Russ and Jeanelle, when a U.S. soldier dies overseas, there is an elaborate process and ceremony that takes place at Dover Air Base in Delaware. That's where the Air Force Military Mortuary Affairs Operations Unit is staged. That's where the bodies of American soldiers lost in combat are returned to U.S. soil. Now, reporter Mike Kelly, who's with the USA Today Network, wrote an excellent article this month about that Air Force Mortuary Affairs Unit and the soldier volunteers who work there. In Kelly's words, they are just ordinary people struggling to preserve a small flicker of humanity amid the carnage of war. And among their assignments is to build the soldiers' final uniform, what one of them calls the greatest honor we could ever have.
The soldiers who work in the uniform shop want to get it right, and they work very, very hard on making sure that all of the various medals and insignias that a soldier might have been awarded during his or her career are all in place and all accurate. And as I pointed out in my story, there's no room for mistakes here. This is the final journey for any soldier who's killed. Many of them said to me that this is like one of the greatest honors they could ever have in their career in the military, which really struck me because we often think of military folks as wanting to, serve overseas on the front lines, something important like that. Well, this is what they consider vitally important in their work.
Now, the body of Sergeant Nathan Irish officially arrived back to Dover Air Base around 4 p.m. this afternoon. He is among more than 6,800 U.S. military personnel and American civilians who have perished in Iraq and Afghanistan since the terrorist attacks of September 11, 2001. Irish among more than 2,100 Americans who have died in various war zones who have returned home to Dover Air Base, nearly 50 of them already so far this year. Now, although we did confirm that Sergeant Irish's body did go through what they call the dignified transfer process late today, yet no information on when he'll be returning to Montana. One interesting side note, the Army chaplain who's assigned to that mortuary unit at Dover is Major Darren Schwartz, who's from Kalispell, Montana. We believe he was among those on hand today to offer the final welcome home to Sergeant Irish. Russ and Jeanelle, back to you.
All right. Thanks so much, Jay.
Well, in light of all the men and women who served our country, Wreaths Across America is asking Montana residents to step up and honor those veterans.
National Wreaths Across America Day is a movement to cover all veteran grave markers with a Christmas wreath. And in order to achieve that goal at the Yellowstone National Cemetery, local groups from our region will be stationed at all Yellowstone County Ace Hardware stores on Saturday, November 9th.
Now, this year, the official Wreaths Across America Day is December 14th, and the group hopes to place at least 1,000 wreaths at the cemetery there in Laurel. In 2018, only 400 wreaths were laid, leaving 600 grave markers bare.
Now, each wreath is $15 to sponsor. You can also find a link to sponsor in this story at KTVQ.com.
We have a better idea now of just how much oil leaked out from that break in the Keystone Pipeline in North Dakota. The leak was detected Tuesday night near Edinburgh in eastern North Dakota. The pipeline is part of the Keystone that runs from Alberta, Canada to an oil refinery in Illinois. Now, pipeline owner TC Energy says about 383,000 gallons leaked before that pipeline was shut down. That's about half the size of an Olympic swimming pool. The area affected covers about half the size of a football field. State and federal agencies are on the scene still assessing the damage.
In other news tonight, the suspect accused of killing and dumping the body of a Laurel woman earlier this month says he's not guilty. 22-year-old Diego Hernandez, charged with deliberate homicide in the death of 57-year-old Lori Bray, pleaded not guilty to deliberate homicide today. Now, charging documents state Bray died of strangulation on October 1st after giving Hernandez a ride, ride home after her shift at the Cedar Ridge Casino. Now, her body was found nude and beaten on October 2nd near Yard Office Road, a few miles away from where her car was found. Now, Hernandez remains in the Yellowstone County Jail tonight on $500,000 bond.
Former Billings massage parlor operator is headed to prison after pleading guilty to charges that he brought a woman to town to engage in prostitution. Scott Petrie was sentenced to 2 years behind bars and 5 years supervised release. Petrie is the former operator of 2 massage parlors in Billings, the King Massage and the A Spa. Now, he admitted to paying for a woman to come from Las Vegas to Billings, where she provided commercial sex services. In exchange for the guilty plea, prosecutors dropped other charges that could have added 25 more years to Petrie's sentence.
Well, the man prosecutors say injured 1 police officer and drew fire from 2 others when he rammed a stolen truck into their patrol cars pleaded not guilty today. 30-year-old William Melcher is charged with 4 felonies after the night of October 9th. Court documents say after police trapped Melcher at the Holiday store on North 27th, he drove into their vehicles. 2 of the officers shot at him, sending Melcher to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. He faces up to 50 years in prison and more than $150,000 in fines.
The House of Representatives has approved a resolution to formalize its procedures for the impeachment inquiry into President Trump. Today's vote was 232 to 196 and sets out how lawmakers will move the inquiry into its next phase. It was the first time the full House chamber took a vote related to the matter. The resolution only details the process of the inquiry, which will include public hearings, likely beginning before Thanksgiving. And along with the majority of their parties, Montana Representative Greg Gianforte and Wyoming Representative Liz Cheney voted along party lines. Gianforte released a statement slamming Nancy Pelosi and Adam Schiff's efforts, saying Pelosi and Schiff continue their sham process to overturn the results of the 2016 election. The American people deserve to know what Pelosi and Schiff are doing behind closed doors, but their resolution does nothing to guarantee transparency, make transcripts available, or allow the president to defend himself. And Representative Cheney spoke about how this process is flawed and tainted. She says this is a process that has been fundamentally tainted. The president had no rights inside these hearings. His counsel has not been able to be present. 2 Democrats voted cross party lines and voted against the resolution.
Well, former Montana Solicitor General Lawrence Van Dyke broke down in tears during a hearing on Capitol Hill yesterday.
Van Dyke, nominated for a seat on the 9th District Court of Appeals, is going through confirmation hearings in the Senate.
He grew emotional when responding to a scathing letter by the American Bar Association that questioned if he could be fair to LGBTQ litigants.
Did you say that you wouldn't be fair to members of the LGBT community?
Sorry. No, I did not say that. I do not believe that. It is a fundamental belief of mine that all people are created in the image of God. They should all be treated with dignity and respect. Senator.
The Bar Association called Van Dyke arrogant and lazy and submitted a not qualified rating.
But Van Dyke supporters quick to respond today. Montana Attorney General Tim Fox said that Van Dyke will be fair and impartial on the bench, and that they slandered a good man's reputation. Senator Steve Daines calls him beyond qualified.
Van Dyke worked in the Montana Attorney General's office in 2013 and ran unsuccessfully for the Montana Supreme Court in 2014.
All right, on the weather scene tonight, Q2 Chief Forecaster Bob McGuire here to deliver your Halloween forecast.
Yeah, kind of a cold one tonight for us, haven't you noticed? And you know, that kind of goes with the line today because the National Weather Service tweeted out today that 2019 is the coldest year since 1978. That's going 41 years ago, folks. Yeah. So here's your trick-or-treat forecast, and guess what? It's going to be a little chilly. In Billings, maybe 33 degrees, a 30% chance for some snow flurries tonight, possibly mixing with a little rain. We got some snow showers in the area. Just don't know if they're going to make it into Billings yet. Meanwhile, over places like Livingston, it's going to be 32 degrees. Look for some gusty winds there as well, and about a 30% chance for some snow showers, otherwise cloudy. Meanwhile, in Miles City, possibly 36 degrees, cloudy skies, about a 60% chance for snow, and it's going to be a little breezy for the kids, and that goes from like 6 o'clock until about 9 o'clock tonight. So bundle up the kids. It's going to be kind of a chilly one out there, and then it looks like once Halloween is over with, the weather improves for tomorrow. We'll chat about that coming up in a few more minutes.
All right. Thank you, Bob.
Well, for those aiming for a little more daylight and a little less chill, the fun had in downtown Billings this afternoon.
Q2's Rob Griggs channeled his inner child and Sweet Tooth. Check out the cutest part of Halloween.
Are you a dinosaur? So as a parent, having this happening downtown, is that pretty convenient?
Absolutely is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how many years have you been doing this?
About 5.
No kidding. So have you got a lot of candy? What's your favorite candy?
M&M's.
Oh, those are mine too. Can I have all of your M&Ms?
I think that having everyone be able to walk inside the different businesses, see all the different locations that are participating, it kind of makes you a little more comfy downtown. You see all the law firms and the restaurants and the retail all participating.
And you are what?
Aladdin.
Aladdin.
That's-
Jasmine.
Jasmine. Are you Princess Jasmine?
Yeah.
Are you cold?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm dressed up as?
Yeah.
Bob McGuire.
Yeah.
Well, with over 60 businesses in downtown Billings participating in the annual Trick or Treat, this is a great, safe option for families to bring their kids during the daytime. Now, this evening, we need to be extra careful on those side streets and in the neighborhoods. We'll have little trick-or-treaters running all over the place. Let's make sure they have a safe evening. In Billings, Rob Griggs, MTN News.
All right, thank you, Rob.
Well, there's more news from across our state on tonight's MTN 9 o'clock news. One Montana restaurant takes the creepy crawlies to a whole new level. Join me tonight at 9 on the CW to see if you could handle it.
But first, still to come on tonight's 5:30 news, we meet a Montana mom thankful that she and her 5 children are alive after a scary crash on I-90.
And in sports, Scott has the story on 2 former Grizz football players still in contention to make the U.S. Olympic bobsled team.
You're watching MTN News with Jeanelle Slade and Russ Riesinger. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire. And sports with Scott Green. This is the 5:30 news on Q2, Montana's news leader.